You're listening to Radio Mayapur with the best devotional, meditation, kirtan music, and inspirational podcast. This is Radio Mayapur.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. To all the listeners, this is Gangadhar, your host. Today we are very, very fortunate in Mayapur. We are having Antardwip Prabhu, who is from Ireland, born on 27/7/1952. He studied as a mechanic engineer, and he came to Mayapur in 1975. Then I know he came again with his minor in 1979 and with the guitar. And we met in 1979 or 80, and then when we were traveling together in Sankirtan for a few years, I should say. We were brahmachari, we went from Nepal, Bangladesh, we traveled all over India. And we are very, very happy to have you with us today, Antardwip Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Ganga, for having me on your program and wanting to hear all my rubbish. Great.
It's a great pleasure to see you after a long time. And I'm very happy because you are also one who supervised the whole activity on Mayapur TV. And people will see worldwide. Every day we see Mangalarti, if we are here, near, or far away. In the television, you have a bunch of camera people walking around and fixed camera, and we see Jagannath, and we see Gornitai, and we see Bhajan Kutir, and we see beautiful Darshan of Radha Madhava. Thank you so much for giving such a great opportunity to everybody to associate with the Lord. Antardwip Prabhu.
That's great. Thank you very much, Ganga. We've got a great team here in Mayapur and around the world, broadcasting different temples.
Nice.
So it's very nice to work
That's
with.
true. That's true. And you have also our Radio Mayapur link into your
Especially Radio
into
Mayapur.
your website. So tell us a little bit about your previous life. I mean, not previous life. Let's say, okay, when you were a kid, you're born in a family in Ireland. Your father, mother, brother, sister. Your background a little bit.
Yeah, well, I actually had a father and a mother, and I was very grateful for that. That really helped. And they were brought up as a Protestant in Catholic Ireland.
Okay.
So I think Italy is mainly strongly Catholic. Yeah?
Catholic,
and
yes.
the Pope's also
Catholic.
Catholic. Yeah.
That's
true.
What's the difference between Catholic and you say
Protestants?
And Protestants.
Well, Protestants, Catholics go to hell, and Protestants
they don't.
and Protestants go to heaven. It's a very simple distinction.
Oh, that's fantastic! I didn't know that. If I knew that before, I would have joined them.
You've learned something. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so but you have a brother, sisters, elder,
yeah.
younger than you. Oh.
I've got a big sister who is a very wonderful person. You should really have her on the podcast instead of me.
I think she came to Mayapur.
She did, yeah. She came to Mayapur with
a long time
her
ago.
husband. It must have been about 7 years ago or something like that.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's right. Yeah, they met you. Did they meet your brother when he came?
Yes, I think
he was here at
Ricardo,
that
my
time.
brother, was there.
Yeah.
Was here with his wife and kid. Yeah, it was nice.
Yes.
So then, okay, you came in India in 1975. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you come? By flight, by road, by bus, magic bus? I don't remember how you...
No, I came across by train and bus.
Okay.
And at that time, you could go from London all the way to India, across Pakistan and Iran
Afghanistan.
and
Pakistan and then India.
And then India. It was.
But it was a bus, it's an organized tour?
No, the first thing was in those days, they had this thing called a magic bus.
Yes, I remember that. The magic bus was fantastic.
Okay.
And it was very cheap. It was 140 pounds. They take you all the way to India and they give you food also.
That's right. Like everybody had their Herman Hesse glass bead game with them in their backpacks. And you get a bus in Victoria in London and go all the way to Constantinople, which is now called Istanbul, yeah. So you go to Istanbul, and then you go to the pudding shop and get something to eat. And then I continued from there across the Bosphorus to... I was actually on my way to Tibet.
Oh, I see. So how you were interested? Did you read any Herman Hesse, I don't know, some books which it guided you towards India and toward Tibet. Let's say, what was your interest?
Well, at that time there was quite a lot of authors around at the time. It wasn't the late 60s. It was sort of like the nearly late 70s. But there's still a lot of books around. You had Lobsang Rampa, who was pretty well convinced it was a made-up story. Then you had Carlos Castaneda.
Castaneda, yeah.
His books were amazing, and they sort of dealt with American Indian shamanism.
Yes.
And even if they weren't true, if only an element in them was true, it sort of indicated something beyond our normal experience. So that was sort of very interesting to myself.
Absolutely.
And so I'd read those books. But one of the books that, in those books, you couldn't really find out anything about the author or the authenticity of the story. But there was one book called 7 Years in Tibet by Heinrich Hauder.
Yes.
And have you heard it? There's a film made of it.
Yeah, there's a film made, yes.
Yeah, with Brad Pitt.
Correct, I saw it.
And then the film got very bad press because the character he played was actually a Nazi who's captured as prisoner of war. His answer to it was, "Hey, listen, I put on face paint for a living. So why are you criticizing me politically?" Really good. So that book seemed to be, that book was definitely authentic. It was about the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
And it was about this German who escaped over the Himalayas from his prison in India to Tibet and became the Dalai Lama's tutor. And even to this day, I think he still goes and visits the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala. They're very good friends. And he tells stories. He tells some, just in the whole story of 7 Years in Tibet, it was about the history of his time with the Dalai Lama in Lhasa. And just one or two mentions in it were things that he could not explain. But because he was like a sort of very practical German, that wasn't the sort of the thrust of the whole book. And those stories were, because he couldn't explain them and he wasn't making money out of them and he wasn't selling his book on the strength of them, they just sort of had a ring of truth about them. So I just thought, well, maybe in Tibet I'll find something authentically spiritual.
So that motivate you to come to Tibet and find out.
Yeah.
And did you went to Tibet at the time?
No, I got as far as the Everest base camp, and then the mountain range was too wide. And also, I think had the Chinese gone in at that time?
Yeah, they took over.
What year was
Tibet,
that?
Yeah, at the time. There was a kind of revolution and they all ran away. The Tibetan people, they came to India, they seek asylum.
Do you know what date that was?
I think it was 75 or 76.
It might have been around that. Yeah, it might have been just that.
Because I went to Dharamshala in 79 and all the Tibetan people, and the Dalai Lama made his base there in Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. So there were a lot of Tibetan people who ran away from Tibet at that time.
So I was on my way there. I got into Nepal and then went up to base camp, and then I decided I'm just from Ireland, I'm not a mountaineer. And I thought, well, I'm just a small guy. I've tried to look for God. I got to give up on this one. If he wants me, he's going to have to come after me.
So you went back to Ireland?
No, I went to, I thought, well, God's going to come after me. Then I thought, well, wait a minute, why don't I go to Africa? Maybe they got some spiritual stuff going over there, like
shaman,
voodoo or something. So I went to Bombay to sort of wonder if I could get a boat across and make my way back to Europe through Africa.
Okay.
But the fares they were very expensive. So then I was in the I was in the Bombay railway station. And I sort of think, well, this is just a bit of a waste of time. Maybe I should just go back and become a waiter or something and just take some humble position somewhere and just wait for something to happen. And so I was, opposite me was sitting in the station was a Hare Krishna devotee called Satyanarayan.
Oh, Satyanarayan.
Yeah. So he was there and I thought, oh boy, I've seen these guys before, but you don't have to, I mean, I'd got my nice books where people are doing mystic yoga and things like that. And so you don't have to dress up like that for...
You mean it was in saffron cloth?
Oh, with shaved head.
You like shaved head, yeah.
Everything there. I think that's a bit of a...
extreme.
Yeah, that's not what I was that's not what I was looking for. But he invited me to Mayapur and said, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "Oh, I'm an engineer." And he said, "An engineer? Well, that's just what we need in Mayapur." Since then, I've heard him say to other people, "What do you do?" "Oh, I design furniture." "Oh, you design furniture?"
That's what we need in Mayapur. That was the mantra that I had to capture everybody.
It sort of worked every time. And so I went to, after that I said, I had this picture of Mayapur of waterfalls and cascading mountains and all this stuff. And I thought, well, wait a minute, if I go there and I'm an engineer, these people are going to snap me up. I'm going to be able to live free and extend my holiday for another few months at their expense. So I thought, yeah, I think I'll give it a try. So I got on the next train to Calcutta and made my way to, I had the address of Calcutta Albert Road. And
3C Albert Road.
Yeah, I went there. And so I went there without any expectations. And I went to 3C Albert Road and Jayapataka Swami was there. And I took a trip with him and Shravanananda and Karmajuk, who was the medical doctor in Mayapur. So we went back in a jeep on the way. And you said only say positive things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I won't tell you the jeep story. Okay, I will. He can edit them out at the end.
Sure, you can tell some story.
I got in, I'm on my search for spiritual life. And so I come to Calcutta. We're going to the spiritual land of Mayapur that I'd been told about. And in the jeep on the way there, then when we were going through the village area, the two people in back, they would, if there were any dogs around, they'd suddenly swing the doors open and the back door would be going through them. That was definitely Shravananda. Bhavabhuti must have been there.
Bhavabhuti, yeah, he was there.
And then I would be sort of really horrified. And I think His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj said, it's okay, they've never hit a dog yet. So they go there.
He was positive. Listen, one thing I want to ask you. At that time, you didn't need a visa as a people from England or Ireland because India was a Commonwealth or something like that? Or you need a visa for coming to India?
I can't remember where I needed a visa for. I don't think I needed one for India at that time.
No, not for India, yeah. Because I remember Johnny asked Pankajangli they didn't need a visa because they were from England, so they could stay as long as they want.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they were part of the Queen's kingdom, whatever. Okay.
Even now, you're very welcome. People are very welcome in India. They're not thinking, "Oh, you're our oppressors."
Well, we don't know what's going on in their mind when they see you, but they're okay. They're okay.
Yeah,
they're tolerating.
They tolerate everybody. Yeah,
they tolerate. They're very tolerant. Indian people are very tolerant. Also, because I think different culture amongst themselves, different languages, different. Different food, different dress, different everything. So they are able to tolerate.
Our Prime Minister is an Indian.
Yes, our Prime Minister is Indian. In England, you're right, correct.
Yeah, second best Prime Minister in the world.
Yeah, I hope so.
Mr. Modi's here.
Yeah, Modi's here. Then you came back. So you went back. When you went back, 75 you came, and then how long you stay?
I actually while I was here, I met the founder of iskcon, Srila Prabhupada. I didn't expect it, but I was here, and then the Mayapur festival came, and that was the year I think Gargamuni's buses came.
Yeah, the four white Mercedes-Benz bus. Yeah. I was driving one of them.
No, that was Prabhu Vishnu Swami's buses we were driving. It was Gargamuni's were held up by the impounded.
Two were held. Impounded, and two that were remaining to us. So there wasn't, because I used to take them out with a carnet de passage in Nepal or Bangladesh every 6 months. I remember.
All right, yeah.
They were Mercedes-Benz. But two were impounded and two that remained with us.
Okay. Yeah, I remember going to see the impounded ones when they're trying to get them released. So that was so Srila Prabhupada was there at that time, and I couldn't really understand any of the books. The only one book I could understand was Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. I couldn't make head or tail of the Bhagavad Gita.
Right, it's difficult. But what was your impression of the founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada at the time when you saw him? I mean, many people, they have different type of impression. What was your feeling? What was your...
I try to remember something. He was definitely, I can't say anything really. One time I was in class not paying attention. I started scratching myself and he was giving a class. And then I heard this huge loud voice in my ear saying, "You are not a piece of skin." And which is really what all that I'd understood. You're not your body. Okay, I could understand that. He says, "You're not a piece of skin." I just looked up and that was it. And
who was that?
Who was that? I think it was Srila Prabhupada. I thought he'd said it from the Vyasasan on the microphone.
Oh my God.
But he hadn't. He was talking about something different. And then he was. The thing about it was another memory I had was going to his room for darshan a lot of the time. And at that time, nobody was turning up. So it was just me, and I didn't have any questions to ask. So I'd just been told by Satyan Ryan to go there. That's a gentleman method thing, to just go there every night. I must go there every night. So I went, and then there was nobody there. So he actually he cancelled the evening darshans. So he just looked at me very nicely, nobody's here. It's all right. And then he went out. He was very, very careful to make sure he hadn't hurt my feelings, that he was walking out on me. And he just smiled at me very nicely, which was okay. Yes. And another time I remember there were a lot of people there, and they were all taking, when you went out, everybody got some sweet,
Yes.
And I remember there was Jagaman, sort of a young Gurukul boy there, Jagaman, and he sort of took 2 sweets. And Prabhupada smiled. So I thought, oh, well, I'll go out. I'd like to take 2 sweets too. And so I took 2 sweets, and he frowned, so it didn't work. Just like, what are you doing? Sort of. That was nice. So it was...
But he was giving a class in English. And how many devotees were there in 1975? Only few, 30, 20?
No. There were loads. The place was...
because it was the festival.
Yeah, and it was the festival. And before the festival, there were just a handful of people. But the festival came, there were a lot. I don't remember too much about the festival. It would have been very busy. And then I read the books, but I sort of made up my mind during it that I did say that if God wanted to find me, I give up. He's going to have to find me. And then I thought, well, actually, I did want to find somebody. I mean, it wasn't just Jesus, and that's it. I wanted to find somebody who actually has got some spiritual, whatever it is. So I decided that I'm just from Ireland. It's a person of no consequence from a country of not much more consequence, and I'm sort of lucky to have got here into the big game, and I'm sort of, this is good enough for me. And who knows what else there is? This is just okay for me. And I could understand that something big was going on, because you could actually see around Srila Prabhupada, very intelligent people, very dedicated people, and really from his disciples and followers, you could actually, who were brainy, you could actually see that they found the substance there. And indeed, by reading the books, it was quite easy actually to find the substance after a little while. And so there are many things played a part. And of course, being a Protestant, we one of the commandments is, you shall have no graven image or any likeness on the heaven or earth or the waters under the earth, like that. Do you know that one? No, you're Catholic because you worship graven images, you see.
Yeah.
So we Protestants, we learn the 10 Commandments. And like God says. So that was a very difficult one for me. And because, I sort of would never bow down to the deity when I go to the temple.
Right.
I just walk in, walk off, you know.
Oh, I see.
And so what happened was one day I saw that, I was thinking, wait a minute, I mean, what sort of person is God that he's got deity worship in India and making all the people go to hell? You know, it's not very fair.
Yeah.
And then I could see that, you know, you go on a Sunday, all the simple village people dancing in with their children, with their Sunday best clothes on, going to the temple like you're going to church, and coming out the other side, all in their Sunday clothes, dancing and happy like they've just been to church. and like no damnation has happened to them in between for bowing down to the deities. And one day I just thought, well, maybe it's just a different culture.
Yeah.
And so I was able to accept. That was a difficult bit for me to accept.
But see, for us Catholic, we are all worshiping some image, Mother Mary, Jesus, and then we have the saint, and then we have this one and that one, and the temple, and we do the puja and the offerings.
You just make it all up as you go along. Yeah, I know.
It's natural for us to worship some form, or Jesus in the cross, or whatever, you know. But we have so many images and saints.
And Mary is very important in the Catholic Church too, which is like the feminine counterpart, which has to come from somewhere.
So, but then you decide to go back to Ireland at one point.
No. After that,
But you bow down one time to the Lord? Or?
Oh no, before I left, I'd sort of accept. Okay, I shouldn't be such a pighead, and. There's different cultures in the world with different ways of doing things. And Jesus did say, many shall come after me, by their fruit you shall know them. So they're dancing into the temple, dancing out, vegetarian, very family conscious, hardworking, conscientious, honest. That's the fruit. So what's the harm? And so that was one. So that was very helpful to know that having that quote there.
So then when you decided to go back to...
I was already on my way back from Bombay. I was just extending my holiday with what money I've got.
Right.
So I just made sure I had...
But you went back by road or you took a flight?
No, I went back by road because I didn't have money for the flight.
Right.
And I think when I got to Italy, I didn't have enough money for my... Going there. So I sold a tent. I was lucky. It was like a charmed life. I was just very lucky. I got the money for the tent to take me back to London. Then I got back to London. I had no money to go anywhere else. So there was what was that? There was this Christian, Children of God.
Children of God,
The Children of God were in the subway and they were asking for money. And I said to them, hey, listen, do you mind giving me some money? Because I don't have anything left.
And they did give you?
He did. He gave me money. It was amazing. Yeah. So I got enough money to get up to where I could get a job and stuff like that.
It's funny because I met the Children of God in Delhi. I had no money. I had to go out to Pakistan to get my visa. And the guy said, oh, come with me. You know, we are Children of God everywhere in the world. So he took me along and we went to Pakistan. We got the visa and we came back to India. They were very nice, very sweet. And they had a big congregation everywhere. You know, everywhere we would stay in their house and they cook for us and everything was nice. The wonderful Children of God. Yes. So, but then what makes you come back in 1979?
Oh, because...
You came back with that mini minor. You have to tell us that story. How you came back with the mini minor and guitar? What make you come back? Number one, what make you think that I should go back to India? This is important for me to understand.
Oh, because when I saw Srila Prabhupada there, I'd made up my mind.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll join iskcon either when Srila Prabhupada finishes the Srimad Bhagavatam or he leaves his body.
Okay.
So I thought I'd join at that time.
Okay.
So as it was, he left his body.
77
he left his body. And then I'd made up my mind. So I was working in my dad's business. And
what business was he doing?
He was a wholesale electrical car parts and repairs, diesel and electric repairs. I was managing his business in Galway.
Nice.
And very nice staff there. They're probably not alive anymore, older than me.
Of course.
So I worked in Galway for those 2 years. And the funny thing was, when I arrived, while I was there, I did help people out. I helped the library party when they came. I introduced them to the librarian in Galway, so they're able to sell complete sets there.
Nice.
And I was always sending money to Mayapur, to Jai Pataka Swami for... it was for ghee, but actually they spent it on... They didn't have enough rice, so they spent it on rice anyway. So, and then there are a few other things I did. But then when I got the notice that Srila Prabhupada left his body, I sort of let my dad know I was off. And so then I went and got...
Your dad got upset that you were...
He was, yeah, he a little bit upset. He accepted it, but he always hoped that I'd stay there. A nice man.
It's a natural for a father's love.
He was good. He was very, very good. And one time after I came back from Mayapur, after about 7 or 8 years later, after I came back from Mayapur, he said I sort of wasn't chanting quite all my rounds. I usually have to chant 16 rounds a day when we take initiation. And he said to me, "Aren't you chanting your rounds?" He said,
"Your father."
And I said, he said, "If you make a promise, you got to keep it."
That's correct.
So what a good standard to have.
Good advisor.
Yeah. Good. Couldn't ask for better.
So then what? You purchased a mini minor, and then with a guitar you came all the way again?
well, that's like all my earthly possession. I came with a typewriter as well.
Oh my God.
And a very fancy electronic calculator that could be programmed. And so instead of coming back by Magic Bus and those ones, this time I decided, okay, actually, the funny thing is when Prabhupada died, one of my staff knew this, and he actually cut the obituary out of the paper and stuck it on a card and let me have it. Not that he wanted me to go, but he was just letting me know what happened in a respectful way.
Amazing.
And so I got that was rather touching from the staff like that. And so then I went. I then decided to go across. I decided to bring a car and a few other bits and pieces with me, because I thought the car would be useful. And so I drove it across. And
you were alone, or you were?
I was on my own. Yeah, okay. It was nice, fun drive. What happened the first time? No, that's right. Yeah, I was on my own. Then went across Afghanistan and the desert. Khyber Pass was exciting. And then.
But you had the carnet de passage also at that time.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
yeah.
you had to have.
I had the carnet de passage,
which is a French word for, it's like a passport for the car. You have to deposit money in the bank, the value of the money, so you cannot sell your car double the amount to any other country. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the carnets were a thing. So I went. I drove the car all the way to Calcutta, and just before Mayapur, I was on this sort of stretch of road, and there was a small road, but there's a big truck coming towards me, and I was going towards it. There was only one lane, so I thought, well, I mean, one of us has got to stay on the road, so why not me? Why should the truck have the road? So. So we got closer and closer. In the end, I swerved off the road. It was lucky because he never
changed. Yeah, he didn't.
There's a tiny little car coming towards him. He'll be thinking, "What's this guy thinking?"
Is the law of the jungle here?
It's the jungle there. So I just scraped the side of the car there and it went off. My clutch had gone. So because all the bumps in the road and the bollards to slow you down, so it had gone. So I actually got that welded in Calcutta, because you can't weld aluminium.
No,
but in Calcutta they can.
You can, yes.
Yes, it's the only place in the world you can weld aluminium.
Yeah.
It's very good. You knew that.
No, they have a place in Krishnanagar as well.
Okay.
they weld the radiator. I found one.
Well, that's amazing. Okay, they do heart transplants as well, I think. Yeah,
they can do anything.
They can do anything
I tell
here,
you.
They could repair anything. I remember that.
Repair anything, anything. And you'll be amazed because you go to shop and it's small kids, 14 years old. You say, yeah, we can fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing they do it.
Yeah.
Amazing. So then you came and you reached Mayapur and then you stay here for how long?
I had a 5-year visa, so I stayed for 5 years.
Right. And what happened to the car?
The car, I drove it to, it went up to Nepal for a while, and then I drove it back I went to Bangladesh, went to Dhaka. And I was driving it, and I drove it around in Dhaka, and then they were using it there. Somebody must have a use for it. And then I brought it back, but I couldn't find anyone to get a use for it. So I drove in between the Indian and the Bangladesh customs and just abandoned it and went through on foot the other side. So I just parked it by somebody's house and left the keys in.
And you
and
left
just
it there.
Walked off.
So basically you lost the money or the value of the car in your country because... Is it?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't bring back these documents, they won't give you back the money from the bank.
I guess no, it wasn't that much. The car is not the full value of the car. It was just
some money.
Some money. It was like a passport. So nobody wanted to pay up for that. So
it was a nice car. I remember my brother had a car in 1975. He used to drive it like a go-kart because it's so small, you know. You go inside. It was a powerful engine.
It's a Woolsey Hornet.
It's good. Now, of course, it's a vintage. I saw a few of this car around in Italy and in England as well. Okay, another question I want to ask you is: at what point you decide to join full time? You know.
That was when I got the letter of Srila Prabhupada. So I'd already decided either Prabhupada leaves or he finishes the Bhagavatam, because I knew if I didn't have a particular cutoff point, then I wouldn't do it. So you can't say when I'm ready, because then I'll ever be ready. So I said then, and so I came to try to do some
service.
Yeah. And then, as I say, I was with you. I was driving a.
Yeah, we were traveling all over. We had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of arguments sometimes.
Oh, do you remember? Yeah.
Few. Because you have a strong personality, and I have a strong personality too. So sometimes we had a different argument.
You took on a whole group of Bihar. In Bihar, you took on a whole group of farmers there, I remember.
Yes.
they were just throwing pebbles at your windscreen when you're driving past.
Oh, yes.
And that got you upset enough to stop your car.
Absolutely.
Get out from your car and go and talk to them and say, talk to 20 of them standing around there with all our vegetarian brahmacharis in the back of the van. Say, listen, why are you throwing stones at the car? And then one of them, you weren't really angry until one of them picked your glasses off your nose and threw it on the floor.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I took a stone, I broke on the top of his head. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And then the other guy, they cool off and say, okay, leave him alone, go. Don't fight. But the guy broke the windshield, you know.
Oh, he did break the windshield?
Yeah, he broke the windshield, you know. Right. So it was nothing to do against Krishna's boss, you know, I was protecting
I didn't know he'd broken anything.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I remember one thing, we were going together driving, and we were walking near Kathmandu. Before there was a pass, you had to go through the mountain. There was not a road like now you can go. And we saw one dead body going by, and you told me, Ganga, you know, you had to look at the sun if you see a dead body so that your conscience become purified. And I learned, I said, wow, this is good. It's a good scientific way of purifying, because he said when you see a dead body, either you have to take bath in the Ganga, or you have to chant the holy name, or you can see the sun, and the rays of the sun enter your eyes and purify your heart and your conscience.
Isn't that funny? I still remember the dead boy.
Yeah,
he was all black, wasn't he? Black. His face had gone black with the bruising.
Yeah,
that's why I still remember him. I didn't look at the sun for long enough. But
we had many adventures together, and it was, you know, one thing I should say that I always love adventure. Always, I was always an adventure man. And when I joined the Sankirtan, you know, and I thought, well, this is amazing, because we go and visit different places, different country. We're driving to beautiful landscape, Himalaya, and we went to Pokhara. We went to everywhere. And wherever we went, we had always some contact, and we had this nice kirtan, nice bhajan, nice prasadam, and we had a good time, actually. So I was very fully satisfied to be with these people who are like my brother now, and we're sharing everything. Of course, it was very austere, you could say, but it was very nice.
Yeah.
Very good memory.
Vishaka Mataji, who's now she's president of Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, she was in the very early days, like 10 years before we were around, she was staying in Mayapur. And in Mayapur, they didn't have any luxury at all in those days. They had just tube
Very
wells
simple,
where you pump up the water and those things. And somebody said to her, don't you think, wasn't it very hard in those days? You didn't get proper food, you'd get sick, you would go water. And she said, those were the best days. They were an adventure. Absolutely. And she really would, she'd definitely do it all again. And that was coming from a classy lady having to put up with all these things. She said, it was all part of the whole pleasure.
Actually, I did a podcast when I was a month ago in the manor, and I did a podcast with her. It's recorded, so if people want to hear, she is the president of the manor, and I did a podcast with her and with Yadubar as well, her husband. Yeah, they told the story how they came to India just to do a filming of some village of India, and then it was amazing. And then they met Prabhupada, they did some photograph, and it was very
people.
nice, very
Absolutely
nice,
classy disciples altogether. Amazing
people. So then, I want to ask you also about how the Mayapur TV work. Yeah, I know that you have a new studio and you have made another studio as well in 2 different floors of the, what is it called? Ishodhyan, which is a very nice building. And how many staff you have now at the moment? More or less.
We've had a sort of a hemorrhage of staff, so we're down to about 7 or 8.
Okay, no problem. You're doing a great job by having only a few people, I should say.
7 or 8.
So how does it work? Staff. How does it work? I know it goes on the internet, and it goes and you have a new studio. You do also podcast, or you do talking to Mikey? Yeah, I know you do podcast. I mean, you do interview.
Okay, and I can tell you how it started.
Yeah, please tell us.
Okay, so Mayapur TV started because it started off as a magazine.
Oh yes, I remember Mayapur magazine.
It was a Vaishnav Connection in the UK.
Okay.
So after Srila Prabhupada left, there was sort of quite a lot of people not knowing what direction to take, and trying out different things and upsetting other people. That happened. It's normally what happens anyway. And your mic has got a life of its own.
Losing it. It's okay. There's no problem.
So at that time, devotees were sort of a little bit lost, and there was sort of so in order to bring them together, we brought out a magazine called Vaishnav Connection,
right,
which allowed anybody to come and write a decent article. It wasn't a critical thing at all.
Right.
So and trying to keep iskcon sort of a bit more together. So we had that. It was. And we had a few people would sponsor 10 or 11 sponsors, and we could go and print it out and post it out to people. And it was done, what was the name? I can't remember the software we used to use, PageMaker.
PageMaker,
Nobody uses PageMaker anymore.
No.
No, it's gone.
It's redundant.
Yeah. But we used to use PageMaker in those days, and that must have been about in the 90s, I think.
Yes.
Or late 80s. And... would have been late 80s. Then we did, so the Vaishnava Connection went out as a means to bring devotees together. And then the internet came along, and people were using the internet more. So to get devotees encouraged to go and do a morning program, we started, opened chat rooms. So devotees could come to a chat room, and they would be able to chant their japa at home, but they'd see everybody else's name come up. So I'm chanting now. What are you doing? Oh, I'm chanting too. Lochan Das Thakur Das from Brighton would be on there, and different people would come up.
Yeah.
And so we would have this day to encourage people to do a morning program.
Nice.
And it gives them association, because everybody moved, a lot of people moved out of the temple, and it gives you like morning association. You're not just all on your own. You've got different people from different places coming on in the morning. So that sort of developed, and eventually when video came along, then people were doing video chats. So then you could go and see people in the video, and then you put the video on so you could check, oh, look, I really am chanting, look. So not just my name
not
there.
Sleeping.
Yeah. So you see video chats. And then we went to, it was Bhaktivedanta Manor, and we said, hey, can we put Bhaktivedanta Manor a few cameras in there? And they thought about it, and they gave it to the committee, and they gave it to the subcommittee, and then it went back to the committee, and they said, we don't think so, not just yet.
Why?
And don't forget, I did the Vaishnava Connection, which was a bit controversial for some people. And but it did bring people together. And of course, as soon as the internet came out, where everybody could blab any old thing they like, then they sort of thought, oh, the Vaishnava Connection, let's bring it back. It's good.
It's pretty good. It's not so bad.
So we had then I sort of think, let me try Soho Street. So I went to Soho Street, and Mahajuti was there. And then I gave a pitch to the committee there. And then Mahajuti says, he's got this American drawl I can't sort of imitate. He's now sannyasi. He took sannyas from, he was Prabhupada disciple, then took sannyas from Radhanath Swami. So now he's Maharaj. And he sort of drawled out, he said, oh, why don't you go to the manor? And
you told him, I already went.
Then I said, oh, we already tried, and they said no. And then he said yes. That was funny. Yeah. So they were the first temple to go online. And Vince, we had this, Vince came and chose the equipment. Vince from Boreham Wood is in now, I think. And he came and did the physical setup with cameras and all those things. And we got them on a broadcast, and Pushkar Raj did the programming. And there wouldn't be Mayapur TV because without Pushkar Raj. He actually, we were trying to get things set up, and Pushkar Raj was staying in Coventry, in an unnamed temple. And he was staying in an unnamed temple near Leicester, and he fell out with the president. So because of that, he came to Leicester. Oh. And because he was in Leicester, I was able to make contact with him, and he is a world-class programmer, amazing. Yeah. So he was able to handle the programming for Mayapur TV. So then we were able to get started with that, and Soho Street came on, and all the people, they would come onto Soho Street for their chanting in the morning and things like that. They'd get the morning program and see the deities. But it did change it from being centered around the people living outside to being centered around the temple, which was okay, but it was a change. And so we went from the newsletter to bring people together to a chat room to a video calling to a broadcast from Soho Street. And then from there we went to, I got some money. So we was able to think of maybe starting something in Mayapur. So we got permission. Bhakti Purushottam Swami organized us to come to Mayapur. Gopijana Vallabha Prabhu in Mayapur, who runs Mayapur Tourism, Mayapur Tourism, he actually had a camera in the temple already, and it was working. Yeah, and he sort of was very helpful getting us in there and set up, and we made a special room and everything, broadcasting room, and got the equipment started. So we were able to start, we started like that. And then then we were able to get other temples around the world on as well.
How many temples you have online now?
There's about 20 regularly coming on and off at different times. We should be developing it, because we can there's some people going on YouTube but not going on Mayapur TV. Mayapur TV, because of the social media, is much more accessible to people. A lot of people are more comfortable there. But some people don't like the advertising. They want to be in the devotee environment, so they go and watch on Mayapur TV. Nice. And so we can actually put other other temples on if we want.
Nowadays, it's quite simple and easy to put camera. Already some temples, they maybe already have a camera, just to link them up.
It is,
because I was in Australia and many temples, they already have a camera in them.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm traveling around, maybe I can request them if we can link them to your Mayapur TV. Because we have, I think, 500 or 600 or 700 temples around the world.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see, I don't say all of them,
it's
but
nice
at least
to see them on.
It's beautiful to see the darshan of many, many different places.
Not even, you used to look at the back of the Back to Godhead magazine. It doesn't mean you actually saw the place, but you actually know, I feel good. I'm a member of a worldwide organization. I can, if I want, I can go to Hawaii. And there'll be a temple there. I'll have some connection with her. If I like, I can go. So I used to like that idea and the Back to Godhead. So this is like the same sort of thing. So even if people aren't watching them, it's nice for people to see, okay, what goes on in iskcon? Well, you can actually see. You don't need to get someone to tell you.
Yes.
Have a look. And this is what goes on.
Apart from that, I think it's making people feel like we are a big family, and it is true.
Yeah.
I'm traveling around the world with His Holiness Banu Swami, and wherever we go, the people welcome us, and they give us accommodation, prashadam, whatever we need.
Yeah.
We got stuff for 1 year in Gold Coast in Australia, and we had nice time every day. We did so many different programs, and I fixed some car and this and that, whatever. But it was a very good time. So we have a big family around the world.
Yeah. One of the things, like the Vaishnava Connection, was bring devotees together. The idea of Mayapur TV is try to bring the society together a bit, and that's the sort of idea of it.
Tell me about the future of Mayapur TV, what you envision, because I know we have to put camera everywhere. We have a big job, we have a mission, but what you see, how we can accomplish this, how we can people put all the family together.
Yeah, I think it's well, you don't know how long the internet's going to be. You don't really know what Christian's going to pull out of the hat next, and what bends are going to be in the road. I mean, internet preaching is a lot more dependent on so much technology than printing books. Yeah, you can almost make your own printing press with stuff you got lying around the
But
house.
so far we have it, we have to use it.
We have to use it, yeah. And it just develops in such ways. Like a few years ago, there was no YouTube or Facebook. Yes. Now you've got free streaming. It's unbelievable. How can they possibly afford to store all our videos and stream all our stuff? It's you don't know how they managed, how it's affordable, even with advertising. You wonder, how do they manage to do that? Because I know how expensive it is to hire servers for Mayapur TV and keep it all going. So it is a special thing. So I don't know what the future is, because the present changes so quickly. And we just, as
but you have a plan. You have a plan A, B, C, D, up to Z. Actually, I don't know what kind of a plan you have. I don't know.
Try to keep one step ahead of Krishna.
We are trying to please Krishna whatever way it takes, whatever way he wants.
And I think the broadcast in Mayapur is actually because it's in Indian broadcasting, it's got much more natural viewership, and in India you can go also on. So the actual Mayapur TV broadcast itself is like almost a separate thing from the Mayapur TV thing. And the Mayapur TV broadcast itself we're on cable. We can develop cable TV a lot more, which is not really the internet, because even if the internet stops, people can go back to cable TV technology.
Yes.
So it's got legs there.
I think here in the village we see always these people with the cable everywhere. They're putting cable everywhere. So that's a backfiring type of things, technology which can still be used.
Yeah.
But what about your new studio?
The new studio.
Tell us a little bit what you do in the studio, because it's a big studio with camera, with lights, and So.
The big studio. The big studio was made because it's such a successful broadcast with Bhakti Vijay Maharaj. Just in Mayapur, we got this sort of big studio. So there's two Mayapur TVs. One is the Mayapur TV worldwide one, and the other one is sort of like developing the broadcasting from Mayapur. So the studio one, we have a very successful broadcast with Bhakti Vijay Maharaj and Padmamukha Prabhu, Atul Krishna, plus a guest every Sunday night. And they were coming in, and they get a very big response because people on YouTube or anything, you only have like 2-minute videos. People's attention span is a lot less.
Yes.
Then you have formal class where people are sort of giving a class for an hour or so, and that's quite strenuous for most people. And these discussion groups enable people to interact with each other, ask questions, interrupt each other, talk, tell jokes, and the whole philosophy can be got across in a much more entertaining way. And you can also see people's interacting and all that's going on as well. And also, so we made a set. The set was made to make it look attractive. Like if you go on talk shows like Kapil Sharma or someone like that,
yes.
Then they make a very nice job of the set. Whereas previously we just had black curtains behind us, which was okay. We just thought, well, let's try and just make it a nice set with big French windows and curtains and brick walls and sofas and that, and we got that. So that makes a good set. And also, it makes people feel more focused when they're in that special environment. Okay, I'm in a studio. I'm actually making a recording, so I'll make more of an effort, and it does bring out the best in people.
So how people can find you in this? Only YouTube?
If they go to I think you'll find we're starting an English language one soon, but
because this one is in Bengali.
We've got 2 in Hindi. We've got 1 Hindi on Saturday nights on the iskcon Mayapur Hindi channel.
Okay.
I think on Facebook as well. Okay. So it's iskcon Mayapur Hindi YouTube, and then you can get there's men on the Saturday and there's women on the Sunday. So if you go to that channel and look up videos or look up live, you're able to find those ones, those discussion groups. And if you go on the iskcon Bangla, you can get Maharaj's one there in Bengali. And we need to start a one in English, and we're trying to do a children's one as well. I mean, if we manage to do like 5 even 1-hour programs a week in there, it's good use of the studio. It'd be good to do that. It'd be nice to do more, but let's see if we can manage those 5. 1 English, 2 Hindi, 1 Bengali, and children's one. So here we go. And the one upstairs is for doing interviews and things like that, like you're doing here.
Right.
We're doing one upstairs. You've got very nice equipment here. I hear you're going to go into doing video podcasts.
As well,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
Also, we like to put this studio available for devotees who want to do some good presentations or read some from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or whatever, something connected with spirituality, and so everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
To Radio Mayapur.
That's very nice. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so we go anyway. So that's that'll be a good asset, and nice. It's a lovely studio, I've got to say. Really
Thank
nice.
you so much.
When is it starting? And when you're starting your video?
I think within a couple of weeks, because we have everything. We just set up everything, and Nityanandaram, with our architect of all this, is putting it together. I am completely ignorant about the computer and stuff. I'm more a mechanic, you know me, but I can help. One last question I want to ask you. What is the most appealing sloka in your mind which you're meditating, whether it's Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavad Gita, something that you really enjoy remembering and something which cherish your consciousness?
The fact that God was good enough to let me see Srila Prabhupada. I don't deserve it.
That's beautiful. So thank you. You're very fortunate that you saw Srila Prabhupada.
And so are you.
Me? I'm nothing.
In his books, you're here. You're here. And there's many people who saw him who weren't here.
Yeah.
So that's seeing Srila Prabhupada means you're seeing him now, helping. That's it. I'm not seeing him now, and you're not seeing him now. But
we see his power.
See, and read, and once you get a hold of the books, then a grasp of the books,
In fact, we should study this book all the time because this is amazing what Prabhupada put in this book and how much revelation. In fact, sometimes some devotees saw Srila Prabhupada reading, Krishna book or some other book himself. And they say, Prabhupada, why are you reading your own book? You are the one who wrote, you are the author. I say, no, Krishna is the author. I just via media and just wrote this book. But it's so nice. Prabhupada was so humble and so transparent. But this book are full of knowledge which can answer all the questions we have in our head and find solution to all the problems and create a family where everybody can live happily together. Yeah. So I'd like to thank you so much, Antardwip Prabhu. And I hope to be able to help you in whatever possible way. And there is any message you'd like to give to the people or our audience today?
Oh yeah, the message is all you have to do to Sri Srila Prabhupada is actually read his books. You find something, and you got to take a little bit of time to open your mind. Not be like me, a religious bigot, and open your mind to the oldest spiritual tradition in the world by far that has stayed in its original text and original words for the last many, many thousands of years. And now you can read it in its original English because Prabhupada's translations are all directly coming from Krishna.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, Antardwip Prabhu. Thank you again.
You're listening to Radio Mayapur with the best devotional, meditation, kirtan music, and inspirational podcast. This is Radio Mayapur.